Imagine you coming home after a long day at work, ready to relax and enjoy a quiet evening beside the person you love. But as you enter your living room, you're confronted with a scene that turns your world upside down. Your wife, the person with whom you've shared your dreams and plans, is romantically involved with someone else. And to make the situation even more painful, that person is none other than your stepfather, someone you considered a mentor and friend. The shock and betrayal cut deeply, but it's only the beginning of a story of discoveries, confrontations, and ultimately, a meticulously planned revenge. On a Thursday night, Kevin was driving home after an especially tiring day at the office. The car's clock read 7:58 p.m. as he entered his street, observing the lights of the surrounding houses, each telling its own silent story. He thought about how good it would be to arrive, take a hot shower, and have dinner beside Lara, his wife, with whom he had shared his life for 3 years. Their relationship had always seemed solid and full of mutual understanding. Kevin parked his car in the garage, and with a sigh of relief at finally being home, walked towards the front door. The lights inside were dimmer than usual, an unusual dimness that seemed to whisper that something was different. As he turned the key and pushed the door open, Kevin was enveloped by a thick silence, interrupted only by the muffled sound of laughter and murmurs coming from the living room. With his heart beating faster, driven by a strange premonition, he slowly walked towards the sounds. The lights were low, with several candles scattered around the room, casting dancing shadows on the walls and creating an atmosphere that should have been romantic. However, Kevin's heart sank when he saw, through the reflection in a mirror, Lara and a male figure on the couch, locked in an intimate embrace. Moving silently closer, he recognized who was with his wife. It was Robert, his stepfather, a man he had always respected and seen as a father figure. The betrayal was twofold, cutting deeper because it came not only from his wife, but from someone he considered part of his family. The pain of the discovery was like a physical blow, leaving him stunned and incredulous. After witnessing the devastating scene, Kevin retreated into the shadows of the hallway, allowing the darkness to envelop him as he struggled to process what he had just seen. The initial shock quickly turned into a storm of emotions: anger, betrayal, pain, all swirling chaotically in his mind. He felt every beat of his heart echoing in his head, as if each one marked the end of the world he knew. Kevin made no sound, not wanting Lara or Robert to know of his presence yet. He needed time to think, to plan. In the silence of that night, as the betrayal unfolded a few meters away, Kevin began to outline a plan of revenge. It would be meticulous and calculating. The pain he felt at that moment would be reflected back onto those who betrayed him, but with surgical precision. He knew that any rash action would only serve to alert them and possibly give them a chance to escape the consequences. Therefore, he chose the path of the strategist, opting to arm himself with patience and planning instead of direct confrontation. In the days that followed, Kevin acted as if nothing had changed, maintaining a facade of normality while his heart broke with every forced smile exchanged with Lara and every casual word he had to direct at Robert during accidental family gatherings. Inside, he seethed with a mixture of anger and determination. He secretly hired a private detective, giving him the task of following Lara and Robert, capturing photos and videos of their secret meetings. Kevin became a master at disguising his true emotions, while meticulously collecting every piece of evidence delivered by the detective. He also began investigating Robert's businesses, suspecting they were not entirely legitimate. With patience and precision, he gathered documents, recordings of conversations, and financial records showing irregularities and illicit activities. Kevin planned not only to expose the illicit affair, but also to dismantle Robert's financial empire, hitting him where it would hurt most: his status and financial stability. The day of revelation was meticulously chosen by Kevin. He organized a family gathering under the pretext of celebrating an anniversary, ensuring all important members were present. With a calm demeanor that concealed his inner turmoil, Kevin began the dinner with light conversation before drastically shifting the tone of the night. He began distributing the evidence he had collected: clear photos of Lara and Robert together in compromising situations, documents detailing Robert's misdeeds, and recordings of conversations between the two planning their next rendezvous. The ensuing silence was deafening. Lara and Robert tried to deny the accusations at first, but the evidence was irrefutable. The disillusionment and humiliation they felt were palpable, reflected in the shocked faces of the other family members. For Kevin, that night brought no joy, but a kind of somber relief. He had planned every detail for the truth to come out, crumbling the world of lies that Lara and Robert had built. After the tumultuous revelation, Kevin felt as if a great weight had been lifted from his shoulders. But the victory didn't taste as he had imagined. He found himself alone in a house that was once filled with laughter and shared plans. His divorce was processed swiftly, given the volume of evidence against Lara, and their interactions became cold and formal, restricted to brief encounters with lawyers. Kevin also cut ties with his stepfather, who was now facing a legal battle due to the exposed financial irregularities. The community, once a place of comfort and shared joy, became a constant reminder of the betrayal. Kevin realized he needed a fresh start, away from the memories that every corner of his hometown evoked. Determined to rebuild himself away from the shadows of the past, Kevin chose to move to a small town where no one knew his story. The move was not only geographical, but also emotional and spiritual. He rented a modest house, surrounded by nature, where the sounds of the city were replaced by birdsong and the whispering of trees. Gradually, Kevin began to feel a peace that had long been foreign to him. The local community was welcoming and friendly, and he found comfort in the simplicity of everyday life. In addition to remote work, Kevin dedicated himself to activities he had previously had no time or inclination to explore. He enrolled in a local photography course and spent entire afternoons capturing the natural beauty around him. These activities not only kept him busy, but also helped heal the still open emotional wounds. Kevin's new life blossomed with each new friendship and hobby he cultivated. He began writing, initially as a way to process his feelings, but soon discovered a talent for narratives that captured the human essence. His writings, full of emotion and depth, began to gain local attention. Writing became a bridge that connected him with others in a meaningful way, allowing him to express not only his own story, but also the stories of those he met. He became a beloved member of the community, participating in book clubs and cultural events. This new connection with people who valued authenticity and personal growth was crucial for Kevin to rebuild his self-esteem and worldview. 1 year after the great storm of his life, Kevin found himself in a place of remarkable personal transformation. His new companion, Emma, entered his life in a creative writing group, bringing with her a lightness and understanding that he thought he had lost forever. Together, they explored new places, shared stories, and built a new life based on mutual respect and transparency. Emma showed him that it was possible to love again, that trust could be rebuilt. They supported each other in their projects and dreams, proving that even after the greatest disillusionment, it was still possible to find joy and companionship. As Kevin shared his story of overcoming through lectures and workshops, he not only healed his own wounds, but also helped others face their challenges. At every presentation, he emphasized human resilience and the ability to transform pain into strength. His message was clear: no matter how deep the valley of shadow, there is always a possible ascent towards the light. People connected deeply with his story, seeing in Kevin a living example that it is possible to remake one's life, even when all seems lost. With each story shared, he strengthened his mission to spread hope and encouragement, becoming a beacon for those still lost in the dark. Over time, Kevin's reputation as a survivor and an inspirer of change grew, attracting attention from outside his community. He was invited to speak at larger events, and his story was featured in various media outlets. People were fascinated not only by his ability to overcome such a deep betrayal, but also by his decision to transform that experience into a force for good. He taught about the importance of facing adversity with dignity and turning anger and hurt into something positive. At every event, Kevin shared not only his own life lessons, but also the stories of other people who had overcome similar difficulties, creating a network of support and inspiration. During his lectures, Kevin spoke with passion and sincerity, which deeply touched his audience. He highlighted how adversities could be seen as opportunities for growth and evolution. Each presentation was a chance to reaffirm his belief in human resilience and the capacity for rebirth. The positive feedback he received after the events only reinforced his commitment to this new journey. Many would come up to him, sharing their own stories of pain and how his words had brought a new perspective to their situations. Kevin felt gratified to be able to transform his painful experience into something that brought hope and strength to others. The surprise of seeing Lara at one of his events was a significant test for Kevin. He recognized her immediately, even after years, and felt a whirlwind of emotions upon seeing her. Lara waited patiently until the end of the event to approach him. With eyes that reflected remorse and a trembling voice, she expressed her deep regret for the suffering she had caused. She told Kevin how the years after the divorce were of deep reflection and change. She did not expect forgiveness, but she needed him to know that she was truly remorseful and had learned from her mistakes. This encounter was not only a chance for Lara to express her regret, but also for Kevin to test the sincerity of his own process of healing and forgiveness. Kevin listened attentively to Lara's words, feeling the weight of each sentence and the sincerity in her gaze. After years of healing and self-reflection, he found within himself the ability to truly forgive. That moment was crucial. He knew that forgiving Lara was not only an act of mercy towards her, but a liberation for himself. In accepting her apologies, Kevin felt the last piece of the puzzle fall into place, allowing him to finally leave behind the last vestige of bitterness. This gesture not only closed a painful chapter of his life, but also reinforced his message that forgiveness is an essential part of the healing journey. Reinforced by his experiences and the impact he had on others, Kevin felt he had finally found his true purpose in life. He continued to share his story on various platforms, positively impacting the lives of many people. With each lecture and workshop, he proved that it is possible to rebuild one's life, find forgiveness, and even discover new love after devastating circumstances. His story of resilience and renewal became a powerful testimony that even in the darkest situations, there is always a path to light. Kevin now lived not only as a survivor, but as a vibrant example of the human capacity to overcome and transform. Thus, Kevin concluded his journey not only with the revenge he had planned, but with something much deeper and more meaningful. He learned that true strength does not come from acts of retaliation, but from the ability to forgive and transform pain into a source of inspiration. He looked to the future, not with resentment, but with gratitude for the harsh lessons that shaped him. Kevin had discovered a new life, rich in love and purpose, demonstrating that even the darkest nights could precede the brightest dawns. Every step taken since that painful discovery was a step towards rebuilding a man who, though wounded, never allowed himself to be broken. And you? What would you do in Kevin's place? Betrayal, especially from someone so close, is devastating. But revenge can bring its own form of redemption. Comment on how you would handle such a situation, and don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel to keep following more stories like this. See you in a new story.